Okay, great. So it's been a month since we've seen each other, I think. Testnet is running smoothly. So okay, on the dev thing, I'm trying to fix the issue on HiveMind. Well, it's not an issue per se, but it's like a few fields are missing on the on some GetBridge API calls. I'm taking the opportunity to learn HiveMind at the same time and try to work on the whole thing so I can like get up to speed and make some guides to make everything smoother. Yeah, meanwhile, it's mostly testing things on the testnet here and there, trying to break recurrent transfers. So yeah, not much more than that on my side. It's like pretty standard stuff at this point.
Okay, yeah. Well, for us, it's been just a bunch of small things, I guess, other than the release for the preparing for the release for the hard fork itself for 25. We've been fixing some tests, fixing bugs as they get reported, and just general things like that. I don't really want to go over the little minutia of it. There's probably best just look at my report I put out last night that has most of the details. I guess the biggest thing coming forward other than the hard fork from our point of view is testing the half framework more.
Yeah, I feel like our sync is pretty much the same. So is Hive released now? Because I saw that you made a big issue explaining the.
No, it's like it's like in a beta form. I mean, someone can use it now potentially, but I'd say somebody. It's mostly just looking at it right now and read through the code, understand how it works, rather than trying to actually even. I wouldn't suggest testing it quite yet. Yeah. Probably the biggest thing we still want to do is we need to test it more thoroughly with the plugin that takes data, the Hive plugin that injects the data into the database, and then so right now we've tested those somewhat independently. We need to test the injection process combined with running a half application while that data is being injected, and we already know there's one issue there that we need to fix, so that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, okay, I see. On the testnet sync, it's pretty much something I thought I'd bring up. Is pretty much how we are doing on the testnet. I feel like this is one where even Sergio could actually bring up to speed on where we are on the front ends and in terms of like which features have been working. And I figure you have the most insight on what features are missing from the various libraries. But I don't know if you're on.
Sergio, okay. Are you there?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So far, I've been able to do almost all the development and a few tests. And from what I have seen, it seems to be working. I've not been able to test everything, but I have completed the implementation of all the main features. So if you want to give it a try, it's available on the testnet. I had a few issues with the Hive conversion, but I have not tested in the past few hours. Not sure if something changed, but I have not been able to cast a transaction yet.
Okay, great.
Okay, I think that's related to an issue with the price feeds.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's implemented. The only issue is that I cannot really test it. So
right. We need to set up a test scenario we need to get the right data there to test it, basically.
Yeah. I don't really remember. Did you set up the cost for an account to be created? Can that from the end? Because I remember that was an issue about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but that was an issue because I was trying to create a community. And when you create a community, you actually have to cast not just one transaction, but you have to create the account and then set the community settings. And then you have to assign the admin, that is the creator of the community. And so I basically had to cast a few transactions, and that didn't work. But I added one step in the middle. So while creating the community, the creator account also perform a small delegation. So I solved it this way. Basically, during the community creation, I delegate 5 Hive power to the community account to the owner account, and that fixed the issue.
Yeah, okay, I see. But I guess it goes into the broader discussion of trying to make testnet as similar as mainnet as possible. I know you haven't really focused on this yet, Block Traders. Have you had time to look into the whole idea to like remove the idea of TBD, etc., and just use like bring the whole thing closer to what the testnet configuration to be much closer to mainnet?
Sorry, who are you asking?
Oh, you.
Oh, I didn't hear. Okay. Yeah, there's definitely work in progress to get them in alignment easier. There's a tool we've got that basically can basically take an existing block log and generate, or maybe it's a state file, actually, I'm not sure which, and basically generate a testnet configuration. Maybe Bartek can talk about that a bit more. I don't know if he's available or not.
Yes, we have in development some tool which allows to convert existing block log into different chain, actually the another mainnet configuration of Hive, but using different chain ID. So all the rules specific to evaluating operations and other initialization of blockchain will match to the mainnet build, but different chain ID used to evaluate transactions allow us to next to evaluate that blockchain using a Hive node, which just allows to switch this chain ID. We have initially tested this tool. The guy which is implementing it had some problems related to power apply operation, very initial stuff at blockchain, which behave a little different than we expected. But I think the problems we have occurred there will be solved soon, and this way we will have operating node. Every account which is created by the blockchain operations has automatically added another authority with pointing to the keys passed to the tool. So finally, we will have some node instance, which from one side will allow to operate using original case by direct users, which had original accounts on the main network, and from other side some alternate net operator always can perform some operations over network and, for example, do some testing or other things. I think the functionality of this tool is very similar to the Tinman tool, which was developed by Steemit. But in my opinion, our solution is much more simpler and much more faster, because as far as we tested, blockchain conversion just takes less than 20 hours. And next step is just to successfully replay Hive node, and this way we have fully operating alternate configuration of Hive network. And because of such fast deployment, next we will be able to perform any tests we can find out and restart this testnet very easily. So that's in few words this idea of this tool.
Yes, and it would be as close to the mainnet as it is possible without being mainnet. So what we had problem before, for example, with resource credit, we could do with this tool, because it was hard, because obviously at the start of the testnet, we had very different starting settings than after months of running mainnet. So resource credit values will be very similar to what we have on the mainnet.
So is the idea to, yeah, that makes sense. So is the idea when we will have the long-running testnet as the one that will always be there to truly like mirror the real mainnet?
Yes, and that's another step when we complete this initial phase, when we, let's say, statically convert existing block log to another block log and next replaying given node initially. Next into play comes second part of this tool, which is also under development, which allows to at runtime transform transactions coming into main network into given alternate one. So my idea is to have two networks at live, one the main one, of course, and second one the mirror, which maybe should not be so broadly available to avoid mistakes by the customers, but definitely we need something like this in development and to test things more easy.
Yeah, okay, sounds cool. Do you have like, I know it's still a work in progress, but do you guys know when it's going to be available?
I think static conversion will be, I hope it will be finished at the end of this week, because mostly it was done. There appeared some problems related to unexpected by us effects of power operation, which seems also created given account W witness account, and because we didn't know that, keys specific to signing keys specific to given account have been not replaced correctly by our tool, and that's the work currently performed there. Once it will be completed, we have set given node at some static state and have fully replaced alternate chain node just for unrelated testing to transactions coming into my network. And I think during vacations, during next month, maybe even faster, we'll have completed this active part, which transforms transactions at live synchronization. So we will have potentially two networks which functionally are very close each other and allow us to execute everything we want to check there. On a real data set, on real size of state and other conditions. It was anyway a big surprise to us that testnet build has so many differences against mainnet. And initially we tried to implement our conversion basing on test and build, but appeared to us that this is impossible because blockchain initial parameters are different, and this makes impossible to successfully replay operations which originally had been applied to main network. So we had to introduce a little different configuration we are calling alternate chain. But when we will be at the end, I think we will publish some broader details, how it works and how we can use it.
Yeah, I see. So one thing I'm afraid of is that this means that all of the nodes will have basically the same power requirement as a mainnet node, right? So I wonder how many people will actually participate into it. Although, but I guess it's fine if you guys want to run like 20 nodes.
Actually, requirements are a little bit more than a mainnet node because
really?
it does more computations, because you need to add additional signatures and compute it for extra. It's like on the testnet, you have
but I don't think you're
additional
going to notice
authority.
that. We're talking about a slight. That's pretty slight. I mean,
Yeah,
the
but
bigger node
no,
requirements really aren't CPU. It's more disk storage and stuff like that.
yes, and it's not for general public. It's for us to have a better testing scenario.
Yeah.
Oh, and
yeah, it's more of a
by the way,
development
testnet currently has proper parameters for convert Hive with collateral working, and I just tested it and works for me from Kli Wallet, so you can test it on your front end.
Excellent. Okay, let's, I guess, move on. I need to get out of here a little early today, so.
Yeah, so I put in here a bunch of points regarding the next hard fork, but I feel like it's, as Gandalf mentioned, I feel like it's better to postpone that to another meeting, just because,
agreed.
yeah, I don't feel like it's like relevant. So yeah, the last thing that's missing is some comments from guilty parties, basically the list of tests to focus on for the remainder of the testing. I think it's the Hive conversion, I would say. It's the one thing that hasn't been as battle tested by non-block trades team, I think.
Yeah, that would be a good one for sure. But it sounds like we can test that now, so.
Yeah. And the state of libraries, key dapps services ahead of the hard fork. I think in terms of library, we are almost ready. And
yeah, but I'm not sure we are quite ready.
Yeah, true.
I would like to know more confidently that we are ready on that point.
Yeah, I know. And yeah, state of the dapps. I know there was an idea to make an Excel sheet in Birmingham. I don't know if you get around to look into it, Crimson God. Oh, but maybe you can talk when you're streaming. But yeah, I'm not sure about the state of the dapps. I feel like the main ones are up to date. And since this is not like a hard fork with like breaking changes, it's more about like new features more than anything else. I feel like most of them will be compatible anyways.
Yeah, I don't expect a lot of problems, but still, be nice. The more the test, the better. But yeah,
of course,
it's up to them ultimately.
But yeah, unless someone else has something, I think that's all of my points.
I don't have anything.
If there is enough time, I have just one last question.
Sure, go ahead.
I shared this in the channel earlier today. So basically, when performing calls to the account history, I'm already seeing some of the operation available only after the hard fork. And I think because some API nodes are updated. Is this something expected?
I don't know of anything like what you're talking about.
Okay, so basically, do you know that when you perform an API call to the account history, you have to build the bit mask filter?
Sure. You mean a filter, if you want to filter?
Exactly. So basically, when I'm filtering, I'm building the same filter on the main website, so the one that is not yet updated for testnet. And I'm building the same filter, but according to the API node, I get a different result, including different operations. So it seems that the API node already updated are actually using a different bitmask filter than the old nodes.
I'll take a look in that offline. I'll get back to you on that. I'll check into it.
Okay.
I'm not aware of an issue there, but I'm not saying there isn't.
Okay, I shared the two links. Basically, switching the API node, I get a different result.
Okay.
The account history. So okay.
I'll get back to that as soon as I can. I've got to pop off right after this call, but I'll get back with you probably an hour, half an or so.
Okay, not a problem. It's not a big deal. It's just something that I was not expecting.
Yeah, sure. Okay, we'll figure it out. Okay.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it then.
Yep. Sounds like.
Thanks, I have one more question to everyone. Please, everyone who is a witness or who is an API operator using local instance of Hive, please take immediately our officially tagged version in the master and run local replay to test it last time. And what I hope don't happen, uncover any potential problems before we will be at release date.
Yeah, and so he's asking this in part because we did have one machine which didn't replay properly. All the other machines we've tested worked fine, but we don't know if there's a problem with that machine or if there's just some problem that's difficult to find. So we'd just like more data points to assure ourselves that there's no actual hidden problem with the replay.
Okay, I'll start the replay today.
Whoever can do replay on their API node, take your time, because we don't want situation that everyone will be running on my snapshot from a single point of failure if anything is wrong with my dump. I mean,
yeah, makes sense.
Of course, we just want more tests of replay if everything's fine.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, okay. I think I'll forward that on the witness channel on Mattermost.
Sounds good. Okay, see you guys.
See you. Thank you all.
See you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.